Well, welcome to Thone's Nibbles and number 11. It's a quick look at Matthew chapter 11. Jesus proves his authority. And the scripture that we're studying today is Matthew chapter 11, verses 4 through 6, which says, Jesus answered and said to them, "Go and tell John the things which you hear and see. The blind see, and the lame walk. The lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he who is not offended because of me." So, to set up this situation a little bit, John the Baptist had sent two of his disciples to Jesus to verify that he was the Messiah. Now, we don't know what transformation had happened to John the Baptist. He was in prison and, those things. When he was free and in the beginning, he preached that this was the Messiah. Now, things aren't working out the way he thinks they should. So now he's sending disciples to Jesus to check it out and make sure he is indeed the Messiah. Jesus then relates to them various messianic acts that he has performed. He doesn't quite say it that way. He just says, you've seen the blind get sight. You've seen the lame be able to walk. You've seen the lepers being healed. You've seen the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. These were the things that were going on in Jesus' everyday life, both by him and to some extent also by his disciples. So, those are all prophesied events that are signs of Messiah. And so he didn't have to answer with a yes or no. He just relates the messianic acts that he had performed. Explanation, questions and answers. Why is this in the Bible? It's explicit, highlighted, let's say, explicit evidence of messiahship. That's what it is. It's written to who? Two of John the Baptist's disciples, probably also heard by many others. Communication. This points out the importance of verifying the many leaders by the scriptures they profess. And that's an important thing for us to do. Right now, I had a committee that's looking for a new pastor for our church. And so we need to verify those who are potential candidates by the scriptures they profess. Do they profess the right scriptures with the right interpretation? And then do they live those scriptures in their life? Important. The application to my life, and this is a little longer-winded than I normally am in this series. In this time of political, of social, and physical unrest, and we see all of those every day, we must be careful in verifying truth versus desire, need versus want, opinion versus fact, and especially avoiding worshiping he who says what you want to hear. Want does not imply truth. And I want to expand this a little more even. Verifying truth versus desire. It is true that the sun will rise tomorrow morning. If you're very tired, you may desire that it waits a while before it rises tomorrow morning. However, the truth will reign supreme, and that is what's going to happen. Need versus want. I need so many calories of food and so much liquid intake to survive as I am now for a very long period of time. That's a need. I want a new car. I've got an old car. I want a new car. But will I die if I don't get a new car? Probably not. Opinion versus fact. Oh boy, this is something which we see a lot of today. We see people quoting people who are quoting people who are quoting people about some event which their great uncle Larry had. And that can be in, it could be a war story. It could be a story about why you should or should not take a COVID injection. It may be a story about some medicine which is prescribed to a lot of people, and then you hear this rumor that it causes ingrown toenails. I don't know, some strange thing. Those are opinions. Some of them are opinions that have been formed due to the person who said the thing. Others have been opinion because, everybody is saying that. And others are opinions because they're out and out lies. And they just want to stir up problems or create a environment where you'll buy a product XYZ or not buy a product PDQ. Opinion versus fact. So we can say, yes, certain people who have taken COVID vaccine have indeed had complications. That's a fact. It's a fact known by medical people. It's a fact known by people who keep the statistics of such things. And it's a fact which we can, not with the same strength as when we read Scripture. Those are the true facts. But most things which are reported as fact by reputable news sources or organizations are indeed pretty much factual, as opposed to opinion. And then especially avoid worshiping he who says what you want to hear. And that is the essence of politics today, I'm afraid. We see people who, if their favorite politician is being attacked, it's natural for them to spring to the defense of that politician. However, that isn't the way that most people do it today. They say, I don't care if that's true or not. I believe that politician A is wonderful. And so what I'm going to do is to spread similar kinds of sort of facts, sort of opinion things about this politician's opponent. And so rather than answering the question, yes, he did that, or no, he did not do that, which is the way it's supposed to work and has worked in this country for a goodly long while, it's been, so what? He's worse, speaking of the other person. And that isn't the way our government works. And want does not imply truth. That's sort of going back to the need versus want. I want such and such an event to happen, or I want $1 million, or I want whatever. Clearly, well, why do I play the lottery? Because I want $1 million, right? That want does not imply the truth that you're going to have $1 million tomorrow. And probably will never, ever imply that. So we have to apply the truth from the authoritative person and question any other interpretation. And that's easy to do in our spirituality, in that we, at least if you're watching this video, you probably are in the group of people that I call we, know that Jesus is the authority, and so anything that he says on these matters is truth. The message from God to me: I should quietly analyze statements of others. And my personal response to all that is, I will speak with discretion, particularly with sensitive subjects. And that is sort of the category which a lot of what we just talked about is. It's a sensitive subject. It's a subject that's based upon man and what we think man is, rather than what Scripture says about what man is. So anyway, that completes number 11 of the Nibbles.